2018 season, his first year as the Dublin Air French Air Force's solo Rafale presentator. Presentator isn't a word, is it? Goodness me, he's from Escadron de Transformation Rafale 3-4 Action Rafale Conversion Unit. Scheme, you can see the leading edge slats of the aircraft deploy. Those slats, which are high manoeuvre devices, enable the aircraft to gain more alpha and therefore turn a lot more tightly at relatively slow speeds. Turning the other. Towards that little bit of cloud overhead the airfield with condensation on the upper surfaces, we saw just what a surging quality this display has. Yeah, it's beautiful, truly beautiful, and it's not the first time that it's displayed in the UK. It displayed at the RAF Cosford Air Show on the 10th of June this year, where it won the Bill Hartree. French Air Force Rafale conversion unit. He has previously flown both the Mirage 2000N, his Strike jet, and the 2000D conventional strike aircraft, the latter of which we'll see later in the hands of the French Air Force Couteau Delta team. He's been a Rafale instructor since 2014. Displaced, or replaced, I should say, no fewer than 7 other platforms with both the French Air Force and the French Navy. It can perform air-to-air combat missions, conventional air-to-ground missions, nuclear strike, reconnaissance, anti-shipping strike, and they can also fly in the so-called buddy-buddy refueling role. And it was designed right from the start to be exactly that versatile. In towards us with the undercarriage down. Here as he walks through. And one feature of this aircraft, Mark, is the Delta Canard configuration with those little Canard foreplanes, which is so typical of a lot of fighters of this generation that we're going to see today. Yes, and the advantage of this Delta Canard layout is that both of those flight control
surfaces produce lift for the aircraft. So when you have a conventional layout where you have the wings in the front and the tailplane at the back, it's the tailplane that is actually producing negative lift, so not actually contributing anything to the turning performance of the aircraft. But these canards are producing about 15% of the lift that the aircraft produces that it requires for the tight manoeuvring that we see, and also for this high OA slow speed pass. Started this display with a thrust to weight ratio of about 1.3 to 1, and with the fuel that's already been burnt, he is now up to about 1.4 to 1, which gives this tremendous vertical performance. Later, the Air Force followed a few years later, and the type saw its baptism of fire during what the French called Opération Armatin, the action over Libya, in 2011. Now coming in for a topside pass, showing us this beautiful special colour scheme. Since then, the French Air Force Rafales have been very heavily involved in Opération Serval in Mali, assisting the Malian government against jihadist forces. And one of the missions flown there is the longest in the entire history of the French Air Force. It lasted 9 hours, 35 minutes. It took off from Saint-Dizier in France, where this aircraft is also based. Attacked 24 targets along the way, the mission concluding at N'Djamena in Chad. And it's the sort of performance that the Rafale has demonstrated in operations that have seen it being sold both to Egypt as well as to India. Impressed the Flying Control Committee about this display at Cosford was there was something going on all the time. Not just content to do a square turn, there was a derry roll in between each of the manoeuvres and an aileron roll in between each of the manoeuvres. This really is a full-on display, just about to conclude. And concluding like Solo Turk earlier, with a split-S manoeuvre to land and the gear coming down now. He's been well taught, Babouk, because Captain Jean-Guillaume Marty, the previous Rafale display pilot, is his coach for this season. And certainly the influences very obvious to see as Captain Sébastien Nativel brings in to land the French Air Force Rafale C. This is the single-seat version. The French also fly the two-seat Rafale B, which they originally thought of as a combat-capable conversion trainer. But in fact, they now have started using that rather like the US Air Force uses the F-15E Strike Eagle with a weapon system officer in the back. How quickly that aircraft has reduced its speed, come under control. It could easily have turned off at 2,000 feet after touching down.
Very impressive indeed. One of, no doubt, the best fast jet displays currently on the circuit, but we've got plenty more in that regard to come over the course of the next several hours. And the French Air Force contribution, which is very welcome on, of course, Bastille Day weekend, where the Armée de l'Air has a lot of other commitments. Still not over in the flying display with their Couteau Delta team of the magnificent Mirage 2000Ds. Still to come. But now, to the Finnish Army that we turn for the next item, running in thus from the right, the NH Industries NH-90 Tactical Transport Helicopter.